often say that for the 8 billion, almost 8 billion people that are in this world, there are 8 billion paths to God. We all come with our own hearts, our own souls, our own uniqueness. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I know religions will often tell you this is the only way or that is the only way. But when we add the beauty of our own light and our own uniqueness, that is what makes God. That is what brings in the divine. But I also know, as I stand here, the more I know, the less I know. And I started looking up some quotes on that. Albert Einstein said almost the exact same thing. The more I learn, I realize how much I don't know. And Socrates said, the only true wisdom is knowing that you know nothing. So as I sit here trying to let spirit channel through me to give me some guidance and wisdom, I started thinking about why we're here. Why we're here. What's it all about? And as long as I can remember, I used to say it was 12, but I think it started way earlier. I kept asking, why am I here? This just doesn't make sense to me. It was hard. When I moved to New Jersey, I was from the Midwest. I was kind of a dorky little kid that listened to my parents, didn't want to get in trouble, wasn't very athletic. Well, it wasn't even artistic in my own mind at that point. So I'm like, I felt like I had no talents except just being me and running off into the woods by myself and talking to spirit. But that you could say was psychotic, but you know, can I tell you? But I also feel that all my life I was searching for my purpose, and I was searching through it through spirit. And as I grew up and I continued to live my life, I know I have told some of you and many of you before that there was a time when I was about 12 and I got down on my knees and I just said, show me, because it really bites here. Just show me and just teach me, bring teachers into my life. And then in high school, they started coming and coming and coming. And they came in all shapes and sizes. They came in all modalities. And my mother thought at once I was going to be a Hare Krishna. And I'm like, Mom, I'm just going to a born again Bible study. You know, it was just, I just want to learn. But I really did drive my parents crazy trying to find different routes to my spirituality. And I went into theater, and I was in my teens and early 20s acting and modeling. And then hearing a voice in my head one day when I knew I wasn't fully happy with this, saying, and I know you've heard me say this before, Kim, you don't need people to know your name or your face to be a success in life. And that stuck with me. That really, really stuck with me, because I really felt that I will come into this world in obscurity and I will leave in this world in obscurity. But hopefully in between, I will have just touched a few, and you will have touched me, and we will have grown together. And even unknowingly, we will see the divine together. You know, I often hear that there are only two emotions. And I thought it was my own idea many years ago, but I don't think it is. It's probably someone else's filled with wisdom. But there's just love and fear. That's where we balance ourselves. And somewhere in between, we go back and forth all our lives between the love and the fear. And as we do that, we have to just remind ourselves that that truly is the balance. We're given moments to test our balance, and not test in a way to fail or win, but to call us to contrast, to find what we really want within ourselves. And I do vacillate between the two. I may be very loving at times, and in the quiet, I can kick myself. And how can we sometimes not be our own worst friend or best enemy? But I also feel that as we look at our lives, we hear about Esther Hicks, and most of you know her, law of attraction, law of deliberate creation. Abraham and the guides that channel through her really discussed, where do you focus your energy? And the law of attraction isn't about just sending out a thought to the universe going, I want more money, I want a car, I want a house, I want the perfect partner, I want 20 pounds less, 50 pounds less, I want to be healthier, and thinking that it's going to come to you. But it's going to come through the feeling of your heart. When you send out that desire and you live in that place closer to the line of love, we may not always be right there, but believing that you can have it. And I believe we're given this gift of emotion in our consciousness as we go through this walk every day. Emotions guide us. And many of us will think, well, you know, sometimes emotions are a curse. They can feel like it at times. You're right. When it takes time, so much time to find the love. Sometimes we have to give way to find the love in us. And, you know, I've been working with QHHT as a hypnotherapist, working in past life regressions, and I love it. Most of you know I kind of a bit of a dichotomy. I'm a scientist on one side and a nurse, kind of a very left brain. And on the right side, I fall in love with hypnotherapy and helping people find their highest purpose and help them heal within. And it isn't me, it's them who does it for themselves. It's just a tool. I'm just the facilitator. But I found through this, when I watch people in my practice, it's very interesting, the people that give way to the healing and the people who give way to finding their purpose through hypnotherapy, when they let all of the other stuff fall aside through hypnosis and let the divine come through, their higher self, the you that's truly you. In religions, we call it the soul, but it is you. This life, I believe, is just one sliver of many, many lives and incarnations that you will go through, because you are here to learn and you are here to experience. I had a client the other day. She kind of blew my socks off, because most of my clients blow my socks off because I get so excited for them. But when she was talking about the law of attraction, she said she'd gone through a very hard life, and many of us do. Many of us face our challenges. But she had, for a period of time, sat with Esther Hicks, listening to her for 11 hours a day. 11 hours a day with YouTube, playing and playing and playing and listening to Abraham give her guidance to create that law of attraction, to pull it towards her. And ultimately, she changed her life. She left her job. She was a jewelry designer. No, it's not my daughter, because my daughter designs jewelry, but it was another woman. And she found a husband who was just a professor in a college. Lovely man, fell madly in love, met him in July, married him in New Year's, and several years later, his father left them a very, very large sum of money, which she said she had put out there to the universe. And now she travels the world going after her spiritual journeys and, you know, going out to different places like Machu Picchu and so many other in Tibet. And I said, wow. It's amazing what you focus on is what you can have in your life. And you don't, for me, it probably isn't $1 million. It's many other things that I focus on. But you, and whatever your priority is what you want in your life. Feel that emotion and put it out there. And know that you deserve it. I think the biggest thing is that when we look at love today, we're now focusing on self-love. Self-love is where we really do need to look at ourselves. It may not be the last chapter of love, but it's an important chapter. It's a place of going back inward and really, truly, as I said it before, is seeing the divine within you. You know, I've been also looking and reading Paul Selig these days. He is a clairaudient, and he channels guides And he's very interesting. If you haven't seen him, go on YouTube. It's Selig. He's been around for a long time. And he imparts such amazing wisdom through his guides. And when I was listening to him, my jaw kind of dropped, and it all kind of melded in with talking to my higher self, knowing that there is divine within us, and we have access to all of this. So as I go through my notes, and I'm not looking at anything, he said a couple of things that were really important. And he said, we come into this life where we come from a place of knowing into a life of forgetting who we truly are. And his guide said, repeat this to yourself. I'm willing to be who I am at the cost of the old. I'm willing to receive myself as I have always been, my higher self, the me that is truly me. And I'm willing to understand myself beyond the obligations I have incurred in this lifetime as someone who is free to choose the experience that I am a part of here. You get to choose what you really want to experience. He said, many of us think that all these things happen to us in our lives. Things are coming at us, and we think that we have no power or control over them. And one of the things that he said is that we think he did this to me. She took away my free will. I wasn't consulted. I didn't confirm that I wanted that. And I certainly didn't agree. In some ways, this may be so, but his guide said, do we realize that we are authoring our own experience? All of our experiences here for the purpose of learning and evolution. If you conceive of the self as a victim of experience, you will never be a master. So look into this and just pause and think about it, that you create your own life. You create through the decisions you make. And yeah, I used to say, you know what? I'm kind of done, God. I've got enough experiences. I'd like this to be a bit easier. I'd like to coast. Can I coast for a while? But I think I do realize more and more as I look back on even the most painful experiences in my life that I was given a gift, and the gift was to learn to love past the pain. And if I didn't have the pain, I wouldn't have known how to love, not the way I do. With those painful moments, and when you're facing someone that is challenging you, I'm not saying that you're not want to give them a kick in the patukas, but look back and say, what are they doing to me to give me this contrast to say, I am here to love and to love myself, and I am worthy of the love that I give myself. I think we all look for it outside of ourselves. We all look for love in any place around us, whether it's through friends or family. But it does start here. It starts here. And we are in the perfect place and time in our lives. I think we're in an amazing time. We're not toiling in fields. We're not starving trying to get the next crust of bread and worried that we can't feed our children. But we are here now to get a chance to look within. So I just ask you, sit back and think about how amazing you are today and tomorrow and the next day. And when you look back at what you think you regret, put on a new pair of glasses and look at them with love. They may not be rose-colored, but they will be loving glasses. And look at yourself, how amazing you are. And you can make those choices in love. Take time to look at your higher self and the divine within you. And expect the answers to come when you ask the questions. Just spend a little time, even if you're not a meditator, just spend a little time with you. And this is what you are. So I wish you all a beautiful day and a blessed day.